Welcome to the platform. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. East Surrey Grove, Peckham. July 10th, 2024 was a warm Wednesday afternoon. 20-year-old Jesse Lloyd Smith was walking just yards from his home. He was a young man described as remarkably well-mannered, a lover of dogs, and a light in every room. Unbeknownst to him, a silver Ford S-Max was stalking him. This wasn't a chance encounter. The prosecution later revealed that Gabriel Charles had spent days conducting surveillance. He knew Jesse's routines, his favorite routes, and exactly when he would be vulnerable. At 16:50, the S-Max cruised past the Damilola Taylor Center, a haunting backdrop given the center's mission to end youth violence. The car pulled into an alleyway. A gunman, clinging to a 9mm automatic pistol, leapt from the vehicle. 5 shots were fired in a terrifying burst. 2 hit Jesse's arms as he tried to shield himself. 1 fatal round struck his head. The shooter scrambled back into the car and the S-Max roared away, leaving a mother, Ty Lloyd Smith, to find her son dying in the street. Gabriel Charles fled the country shortly after the shooting. Departure date or time was not released publicly. Trial evidence confirmed he had already left by the time his accomplices disposed of the getaway car. While Jesse lay dying in hospital and his family began to confront the reality of his loss, Charles removed himself entirely, leaving others behind to deal with the fallout. Those who remained were left to dispose of evidence. CCTV shows the silver Ford S-Max arriving at Chandler Way, its final destination, shortly after the 4:50 p.m. shooting. The 2 men seen leaping from the car and running into building number 80 were identified through forensic investigation as being part of the group of co-conspirators. Abdul Guin, 19, was identified as one of the individuals entering the building at Chandler Way. The 17-year-old minor, a youth who cannot be named for legal reasons, was also identified as being present during this phase of the cleanup. In the moments after the gunshots rang out, emergency calls flooded in.
Police emergency? What's the emergency there? What's happening?
Members of the public reported hearing shots fired in the alleyway near the Damilola Taylor Center, and officers were dispatched within minutes. Jesse Lloyd Smith was found critically injured, suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. Paramedics worked to stabilize him at the scene before he was rushed to hospital, where he remained in a critical condition. Despite medical efforts, he died the following day. The area was sealed off as a major crime scene. Armed officers and forensic teams cordoned off the alleyway and surrounding streets, while detectives began door-to-door inquiries. Spent bullet casings were recovered from the ground, and CCTV cameras in the area were quickly identified and secured. Within hours, homicide detectives from the Metropolitan Police's Specialist Crime Command had taken over the investigation. In the days that followed, officers traced the movements of the suspect vehicle, appealed for witnesses, and worked to piece together the final moments leading up to the shooting. In the early stages, the case appeared to center on a single gunman, one individual pulling the trigger in a narrow alleyway. But as detectives worked through CCTV, phone data, and witness evidence, that picture began to change. What initially looked like the actions of one person steadily revealed itself to be a group effort, involving multiple men playing different roles before and after the killing. Ben Nguyen and Kiwan Pierre later met up to discuss what to do with the Ford S-Max used in the attack. Here on CCTV, the 2 men can be seen meeting up to casually talk about covering up a murder, seemingly not realizing the severity of the crime they are involved in. Prosecutors said the meeting was not accidental or spontaneous, but a deliberate conversation about removing the vehicle from police view. What followed was a plan to destroy the car by burning it, an act intended to eliminate forensic evidence and break the trail leading back to the shooters. CCTV and witness evidence showed that 2 days after the killing, the vehicle was seen being taken and deliberately set alight. The footage captured the car parked by the roadside before smoke began to rise from it, a sign that accelerants had been used to ensure it was destroyed. While the footage did not show the faces of those involved, it clearly showed the intent to burn the vehicle beyond recognition. a move prosecutors said was designed to erase fingerprints, DNA, and other forensic evidence. Once the investigation traced the silver Ford S-Max used in Jesse Lloyd Smith's murder, it became clear that multiple people had taken deliberate steps to remove and destroy the vehicle. Ben Nguyen, 20, was identified as one of the central figures. He helped plan the disposal and coordinated with the others about how to get the car out of public. Enver Francis, 22, took an active role in supervising the operation, assisting with transportation and ensuring that the car could be set alight safely without being immediately noticed. Abdul Guin, 18, also participated in moving the vehicle and was present when preparations were made for the burning. All three adults coordinated the timing, location, and execution of the plan. A 17-year-old youth, whose identity is legally protected, was also involved. Like the others, he helped transport and prepare the car for destruction. Though UK law prevents any public disclosure of his name or identifying details, his actions were critical to the overall plan, demonstrating that the destruction of the vehicle was a coordinated group effort rather than an isolated act. The court heard that Enver Francis was the director of the operation. He did not necessarily light the match himself, but was found to have taken charge of the entire plot to destroy the car and pervert the course of justice. The judge noted that without this CCTV, the connection between the cleanup crew and the murder would have been much harder to prove. The metadata from the suspects' phones was also used to confirm they were at these exact locations at the times shown on camera. His suspects were arrested at different times between August and November 2024 as part of the investigation into the execution of Jesse Lloyd Smith. August 2, 2024, a 17-year-old boy was the first to be charged with murder. Although he was initially charged with the murder of Jesse Lloyd Smith, he was ultimately convicted of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. November 2024, Gabriel Charles was arrested. He was apprehended by police as he attempted to re-enter the country after several months in hiding abroad, and charged with murder upon his return. Late November 2024, police made 3 further arrests on Tuesday, November 26th. 2 men, aged 18 and 21, arrested on suspicion of perverting the course of justice. The trial began in mid-2025 at the Old Bailey, focusing first on the murder of Jesse Lloyd Smith. Gabriel Charles, 20, faced a charge of murder, while several co-defendants faced charges of perverting the course of justice for their roles in moving and burning the Ford S-Max used in the shooting. Prosecutors described the killing as an execution-style murder, highlighting that the attack had been planned and deliberate. CCTV footage showed a silver Ford S-Max driving slowly to the alleyway and the gunman approaching Jesse before firing multiple shots. Witnesses testified about seeing the vehicle, hearing gunshots, and later seeing individuals fleeing the scene. Forensic evidence included spent cartridges and ballistic analysis confirming the type of weapon used. The prosecution presented CCTV, phone records, and witness statements. Ben Nguyen, Kiwan Pierre, Enver Francis, Abdul Guen, the 17-year-old youth, and Kadjo Kadio to the removal, transportation, and burning of the car. The court heard that Nguyen and Pierre had met to plan the destruction of the vehicle, while the others assisted in moving or setting it alight. Forensic analysis of the burnt car's remains confirmed it was the same vehicle used in the murder, even though it had been deliberately destroyed. In many high-profile, execution-style killings, a specific motive is the primary focus of the trial. However, in the case of Jesse Lloyd Smith, the prosecution's narrative focused heavily on the mechanical premeditation of the crime rather than a publicly disclosed feud or specific grievance. While the court did not explicitly name a single catalyst, such as a specific debt or gang rivalry, the following insights were woven into the trial and the judge's sentencing. The prosecution argued that this was a planned and premeditated murder, involving a group of individuals working in concert. In many similar Peckham-based cases, such shootings are often linked to territorial disputes or tit-for-tat retaliations between local groups. The use of a stolen vehicle, False number plates and targeted surveillance of Jesse's movements strongly suggests that Jesse was specifically chosen as a target well in advance. The judge noted that Gabriel Charles and his co-conspirators showed appalling, unfeeling, and disrespectful behavior in the dock, laughing and joking, which is often seen in cases where the defendants view their actions through the lens of street prestige or loyalty rather than personal remorse. Judge Patrick Field, KC, emphasized that Gabriel Charles personally conducted the surveillance to identify Jesse's whereabouts. This level of stalking indicates that the motive was deep-seated enough to justify days or weeks of planning. The gunman didn't just happen upon Jesse, they knew exactly where he would be and at what time. Throughout the trial, the exact reason for the hit remained largely obscured. This is common in joint enterprise murder trials in London, where defendants often adhere to a no-snitching code. By not revealing a motive, the defendants avoid providing the police with further intelligence on their wider associations or the business behind the killing. Gabriel Charles, 19 at the time of the shooting, 20 at sentencing, convicted of murder, sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 28 years. Kiwan J.N. Pierre, 18 at the time of trial, 19 at sentencing. Cleared of murder but convicted of perverting the course of justice, sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. Ben Nguyen, 20. Sentenced to 5 years for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice and assisting an offender. Enver Francis, 22. Sentenced to 4 years for perverting the course of justice. The anonymous 17-year-old, the only minor involved, convicted of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice and sentenced to 2 years detention. Abdul Guin, 18 or 19, reports vary by source. Convicted of perverting the course of justice and sentenced to 2 years detention. Jesse's family and friends consistently described him as an intelligent, caring, and loving soul. There was no evidence presented in court to suggest that Jesse was involved in the same level of criminality as his attackers. His mother, Ty Lloyd Smith, spoke of his potential and dreams, painting a picture of a young man whose life was abruptly stolen by the mindless violence of others. Thank you for tuning in to the platform. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.